Okay, today I'm going to be walking you through the execution phase of the Borrow Lend web application design. On this project is me, Richie Fitzgerald, Richard Hinkey, and Anthony Ace. First, let's cover the scope. If you look at our Gantt chart, all of the tasks that you see on the left were completed by the time that we had estimated, so everything was accomplished in the time that we said it would be. Next, let's look at the project network diagram. If you look at the critical path, that is the thing we focused on first, and that is why we were able to accomplish everything on the day that we said we would. And now when you look at the cost, when you look at the aesthetic design and the database design, we didn't have any estimated or actual costs. All of the work was done voluntary, and so it ended up not costing us anything, which we estimated. And on the survey, we ended up having people take surveys online, and everyone was excited about our application and can't wait to see it go into the next phase. Okay, let's look at quality. First, let's look at goal 1, to improve our project planning. In that first question, we wanted to increase our actual planning time, and so we raised our estimated planning time, and we actually got to 95% of our estimated planning time, so we spent a lot more time planning and a lot less time having to figure out different things. So that was a good thing for us to accomplish. And then next, we took an estimate of how long we actually spent on the project. And we did a guess, and we ended up finishing 2 days earlier than before that guess. So our planning proved to be successful. And our next goal was to focus on improved work performance. We were able to finish each step 68% faster than we expected, and on average each employee was finishing 2 steps a day. When you took into account each task that each employee was given, it ended up taking on average 4 hours for each task in order to complete it. So in summary, everything in our quality ended up being better or faster than we had anticipated. And then the risks that we ended up having, there didn't really end up being any risks. We did have to use one of our risk response plans, which was not enough time, and it triggered 3 days before this assignment was due, and so we kicked it into high gear, and instead of finishing it in 3 days, we actually finished it that day, so we were 2 days early. Besides that, we didn't have any other risks, and no other risks popped up that were unexpected, so that was great, and that helped us finish this project as much as we wanted to on time. So for our actual execution of this project, we narrowed it down to 2 different fonts that we wanted to use. We wanted to use Oswald for the paragraph, and we wanted to use Yanon Kafitsats for the headings. And then with the colors, we kind of wanted to go with a darker background and a lighter foreground to have a good contrast. These are a lot of the different rough drafts that me and Richard came up with for every page of the website and how we were going to interact with each button click and where everything was going to be positioned. And here's some of the rest of those pages. We have some of these pages are dynamic and other of these are static, like the contact and about us. And in the end, this is kind of idea of what it was looking like on our whiteboard, and we just want to give you an idea of how this could look when we go to the implementation process. This is a mock-up I made in Photoshop, and we wanted to have the logo up in the top left, and we wanted to have a user photo with the user's name in the top right-hand corner. When a user clicks on that, that'll take them to their account page. And on the left-hand side, we'll have our menu for the different kinds of things that the user can look at to build a new transaction, to look at their borrow history, or to look at their lend history. In the center here, this is where the content will be in the borrowing and lending. The borrowing section will show what you are borrowing, and the lending section will show what you are lending out to other people. And the footer is just your standard footer. And so the resources, we ended up using 3 web programmers and our 3 computers in Google Hangouts. There were some things that we thought we were going to use, but we didn't, like lynda.com, GitHub, and OpenShare web hosting. Some of the things we didn't anticipate to use was Sublime Text Editor, Whiteboard, and Google Docs. So, all in all, we finished everything we said we were going to do for the design by the day we said. We got our fonts and we got our colors picked out. We have the database design all finished, and we have an idea of how the colors are going to work together and how it's going to look on the screen. And so we definitely deserve the green light to move forward with this project to get it into the implementation phase so that everyone can be able to use and enjoy our software.